In the realm of UFO research, the concept of a Galactic Federation, a grand alliance of extraterrestrial civilizations within the Milky Way, has long captivated the imagination of both enthusiasts and scholars. While such an entity is rooted in the speculative, the idea has gained traction through various reports and claims, notably including those from former Israeli space security chief Haim Eshed. Eshed's assertions about the existence of a Galactic Federation have sparked renewed interest and debate, prompting a deeper exploration into what such an alliance might entail, its potential implications for humanity, and the broader philosophical questions it raises. Interestingly enough, someone found an old NASA document that mentions the Galactic Federation. It reads as follows: "The uncertainty of current estimates is derived principally from uncertainty in estimates of the lifetime of advanced civilizations. It is argued that this is due primarily to uncertainty concerning the existence of a Galactic Federation, which is in turn contingent upon uncertainty about whether the limitations of present-day physics are absolute. It is further argued that it is advantageous to consider explicitly these underlying assumptions in order to compare the probable numbers of civilizations operating radio beacons, permitting radio leakage, dispatching probes for radio surveillance, or dispatching vehicles for manned surveillance." End quote. After revealing his information, Haim Eshed encountered a range of responses from the general public, the scientific community, and government leaders. While some praised him as a courageous whistleblower illuminating one of the most profound mysteries of our era, others disregarded his assertions as unfounded or hallucinatory. Critics highlighted the absence of tangible evidence, substantiating Eshed's claims, and raised doubts about the reliability of his sources. However, Eshed's disclosure sparked a worldwide discussion over the quest for alien life and the potential for interplanetary diplomacy. Following his revelation, Haim Eshed encountered rigorous media examination and widespread public interest. He received an overwhelming number of interview requests from journalists and media outlets who were eager to learn more about his assertions and the potential impact they had on humanity. Eshed was suddenly placed at the center of attention, where his every statement was carefully examined and scrutinized by both supporters and doubters. Despite the recent surge in popularity and scrutiny, Eshed remained unwavering in his beliefs, maintaining his assertions and defending them against criticism. He restated that his knowledge was sourced from reliable individuals within the Israeli government and military apparatus. However, he refrained from offering precise details or evidence to support his assertions. Nevertheless, as the initial excitement surrounding Eshed's disclosure started to diminish, he encountered fresh difficulties and barriers in his personal and professional endeavors. Certain members of the scientific community raised doubts about his legitimacy and accused him of disseminating false information or endorsing pseudoscience. Some individuals expressed apprehensions regarding the possible influence of his assertions on the public's perspective and the wider discussion concerning the quest for alien life. Furthermore, Eshed faced skepticism and criticism from his colleagues, as well as encountering pushback from the Israeli government and military apparatus. Initially, he asserted that he had received authorization to reveal specific details regarding the presence of the Galactic Federation. However, subsequent statements made by Israeli officials contradicted this assertion. Certain individuals within the administration attempted to disassociate themselves from Eshed's assertions, highlighting that his perspectives did not reflect the official viewpoint of the Israeli state. As the ongoing issue around Eshed's disclosure progressed, he faced the challenge of dealing with the consequences and the potential impact it could have on his reputation and legacy. Despite his unwavering dedication to his ideas and ongoing efforts to promote more transparency and openness regarding alien events, he had significant challenges in garnering widespread recognition and trust among scientists. Despite encountering difficulties and barriers, Haim Eshed persevered in his pursuit to unveil the veracity of extraterrestrial life and humanity's position in the universe. The presence of the Galactic Federation holds significant ramifications for the human race. If we are actually under the surveillance and direction of highly developed extraterrestrial entities, it implies that we are a constituent of a broader cosmic society, with a responsibility in the continuous development of sentient life in the cosmos. This realization compels us to reassess our presumptions regarding our position in the universe and to embrace a broader and progressive viewpoint. The Federation's focus on abstaining from intervention and adhering to ethical behavior also provides useful insights for humanity. As we progress in our technological advancements and investigate the possibility of communicating with other civilizations, it is crucial that we maintain the concepts of respect, cooperation, and accountability. This entails guaranteeing that our activities do not inflict harm onto other species or ecosystems, both on Earth and in outer space, and that we employ our technological progress for the betterment of all. Moreover, the presence of the Galactic Federation offers a chance for unparalleled scientific and technical cooperation. Through the dissemination of information and allocation of resources to member civilizations, humanity has the potential to make significant advancements in areas such as medicine, energy, and space exploration. By adopting this cooperative method, we can effectively tackle the urgent and critical issues that our world is currently confronting, such as climate change and limited resources. This strategy will also lay the foundation for a future that is both sustainable and affluent. UFO photographed by pilot Marshal Giancarlo Ciccone. Regrettably, the images taken by Pilot Marshal Giancarlo Ciccone in June 1979 remain somewhat obscure to those outside of the UFO community, despite their amazing clarity and significance. Furthermore, they are widely considered to be highly convincing and potentially the most definitive proof of extraterrestrial spacecraft flying through our shared atmosphere, yet documented. The fact that the tragedy took place during a military aerial survey mission only amplifies its significance. In addition, the sighting was observed by multiple individuals and was additionally supported by radar data. The case was primarily brought to public attention by the diligent study conducted by Antonio Ciumiento, an esteemed Italian researcher and investigator specializing in UFO phenomena. Nevertheless, the sighting generated controversy, primarily because the information was eventually leaked to the national media, and there were allegations of an intentional effort to downplay and completely bury the episode. Pilot Marshal Giancarlo Ciccone was flying his aircraft back to Treviso San Angelo Airport after completing a photographic reconnaissance mission over the Ligurian Apennines on the morning of June 18, 1979, at approximately 11:30 in the morning. Ciccone received a radio communication instructing him to call the radar crew at Istrana Airfield. They had spotted an unidentified object that appeared to be moving at a low altitude. He reached out to the radar team, and they informed him that the object was exhibiting unusual behavior and was intermittently appearing on the radar scope. He proceeded towards the location and soon caught sight of the conspicuous, sizable, cylindrical object, clearly contrasting with the cloudless, azure late-morning sky. Ciccone later characterized the item as having a dull black color and resembling a fuel tank with a somewhat flat upper portion. Additionally, he noticed a structure that he perceived to be a dome, either transparent or white in hue, resembling a water droplet. The item had approximate dimensions of 25 feet in length and 10 feet in width, and it lacked any noticeable reflection of sunlight. The aircraft was outfitted with 4 cameras, positioned on each side of the cockpit, one looking forward, and the 4th mounted on the underbelly of the plane. Soon after initially observing the peculiar object, he promptly started taking images with these cameras. During this time, the personnel at the control tower at San Angelo Airfield maintained continuous connection with Ciccone. They notified him that multiple soldiers on the ground had visually detected the item with binoculars and observed a trail of bluish hue trailing behind it. Ciccone observed that the object had returned to its original location in the sky. Consequently, he made the decision to maneuver his plane and approach it again with the intention of taking additional images. Nevertheless, when he had accomplished the task, the peculiar airborne vehicle had vanished entirely, perhaps having undergone dematerialization. Simultaneously, it had also vanished from the radar displays at Istrana Airfield. The entire experience, from Ciccone providing visual confirmation of the item to its apparent disappearance, lasted around 5 minutes in total. Ciccone observed that the mystery vehicle, traveling at approximately 300 miles per hour, did not exhibit any turbulence. This indicates that the vehicle is highly capable and more advanced than most known aerial vehicles. Unable to locate the object, Ciccone returned to the base. Altogether, he had captured over 80 photographs, but none of them were able to fully depict the object from its side, which he believed was a deliberate action by the unidentified pilot or pilots. Immediately upon his arrival at the base, experts swiftly extracted the films from the cameras and promptly dispatched them to the development and printing department for preparation before viewing. The images exhibited exceptional clarity and intricate details, unequivocally capturing an extraordinary phenomenon in the Italian skies during that particular afternoon. Ciccone was astute enough to covertly get duplicates of at least one of the images. Several years elapsed after Ciccone's retirement without any official acknowledgement of the object's extraordinary nature, despite the continuous circulation of rumors regarding the sighting and the content of the apparent images. The UFO groups and researchers filed multiple requests to the Italian Ministry of Defense, urging them to provide the photographs and any other relevant material related to the case. Nevertheless, the only information provided in exchange was that the object was simply a cylindrical balloon. Unsurprisingly, this did not please the majority of UFO investigators, especially since that Ciccone's level of expertise would presumably enable him to easily distinguish between a balloon made of black plastic bags and a solid, metallic-like object. Arguably, it was the studies conducted by the aforementioned UFO investigator, Antonio Ciumiento, that initially brought the occurrence to the attention of the broader public. Ciumiento reportedly stumbled onto this information by chance. Upon discovering Ciccone's name in late 1979 through more research, he successfully arranged an interview with the pilot and had the opportunity to examine one of the images captured. Despite his initial hesitation, he provided Ciumiento with the fundamental information about the incident, with the understanding that it should remain confidential, at least for the time being. Nevertheless, after retiring in 1983, he became increasingly open to the inquiries of the UFO investigator, who persistently pursued the case despite his desire for the details to stay confidential. In 1984, the Italian Ministry of Defense made an announcement stating that organizations might study UFO data if they obtained authorization through them. Ciumiento submitted an official request for the release of the images on August 24th of that same year. He would request a transcript of the documentation related to the encounter, the ministry's thoughts on the case, and the opinions of the commission responsible for analyzing the UFO documentation. Shortly after, the national media became aware of the request and Ciccone's true identity. Ultimately, Ciumiento would disclose his knowledge of the case, and numerous publications would subsequently be published, often accompanied by detailed reconstructions of Ciccone's observations. Interestingly, Ciccone subsequently expressed his irritation at the unauthorized release of the information to the media. In November 1984, the Ministry of Defense released its official account, commonly referred to as the black plastic bags version. The official response, which was a summary that had little to do with what Ciccone had told them, left Ciumiento flabbergasted, as he wrote in his 1988 essay for Flying Saucer Review. According to the records of the UFO investigator, Ciccone explicitly expressed that it was impossible to imagine that any of our flying objects could exhibit the same behavior as that thing. Furthermore, Ciccone explained that, according to the established principles of physics, the object should not have been capable of flying. Ciumiento anticipated that the case would be deadlocked and would need to be archived as unexplained. On April 19, 1985, the magazine Epoca published a story titled Secret UFO Report that included specific information about the Ciccone case, as well as 3 images taken by the pilot. The investigator would be prompted to formally request certification from the Ministry of Defense regarding the authenticity of the photos published in the magazine. In June 1985, the Ministry of Defense provided a response that essentially confirmed the authenticity of the pictures. They included official copies of the 3 photographs in their reply. However, Ciumiento's study would take an additional turn. Based on his research of the officially authenticated photographs, he found tiny discrepancies compared to the picture he personally saw in late 1979. He would assert that the current condition of affairs was significantly distinct from the image he and his colleagues had observed several years before. He would emphasize that, as previously stated, the item consistently maintained its location relative to Ciccone's images, thus preventing an accurate depiction of its true shape. Nevertheless, the investigator would argue that the officially provided photographs do not provide evidence of changes in position relative to the ground and the horizon. The correctness of Chumiento's statement is up to discussion. Coincidentally, during Chumiento's investigation of the Ciccone case, he held the position of vice president at the Italian National UFO Research Center. Subsequently, he established the Italian Study for UFOs, the organization that reviewed the case in 1994, 15 years after it happened, is the same organization. During Ciccone's initial meeting with Italian Study for UFOs in September 1994, he acknowledged to the team that the 3 images published in Epoca were among the 80-plus photographs he had taken on that June morning in 1979. Therefore, it can be inferred that Chumiento may have misremembered the photograph he had seen, leading to his mistaken suggestion that the published pictures had been manipulated or were completely different. Furthermore, it was revealed that Ciccone no longer possessed the copy of the photograph he had taken on the day it was developed by the Air Force. He was unsure whether it had been misplaced or stolen, but its current location was unknown. The investigators would also interview Remo Guerini, the author of the Epoca story, who had apparently acquired some 30 images from the Italian Ministry of Defense, with authorization to publish 3 of them as a result of his exceptional connections with the Air Force. Notwithstanding, he asserted his lack of knowledge regarding the whereabouts of the images during the interview. However, by August 1995, the situation underwent another unexpected turn. Ciccone's photo, which had inexplicably disappeared, resurfaced just as inexplicably. In the 19th August edition of Giornale, an article about the case was published, featuring the recently unearthed photos just slightly more than 2 weeks after the incident. Shortly after, the national media disseminated comparable items. There appeared to be a renewed interest in the case. Although there seems to be a revived interest in the case and the UFO subject in general, many of the articles addressed the case and subject with a sensationalist mentality, ensuring that such claims were not accepted seriously. Undoubtedly, the extent to which this is a deliberate strategy, potentially influenced by external factors, is a matter open to discussion. There have been other instances documented where UFO investigators have accused local and national media outlets of downplaying, sensationalizing, or even censoring reporting of these occurrences. The account's consistency and believability provide substantial evidence supporting the assertion that cigar-shaped UFOs are authentic and legitimate. These objects are frequently observed by credible witnesses, such as pilots and military personnel, who are well versed in identifying conventional aircraft and are unlikely to confuse them with anything unusual. Moreover, numerous sightings are supported by multiple witnesses and radar data, which serves as additional evidence that these objects are not mere products of the imagination or misidentifications of ordinary events. The existence of cigar-shaped UFOs has significant and extensive potential consequences. If these objects are genuinely of extraterrestrial provenance, they imply the existence of intelligent civilizations with exceptionally superior technology in other parts of the cosmos. This realization would drastically transform our comprehension of our position in the universe and our connection with other sentient entities. Furthermore, it would prompt significant inquiries on the intents and motivations of these beings from outer space. Moreover, the presence of elongated UFOs in the shape of cigars could have substantial ramifications for the fields of science and technology. The utilization of sophisticated propulsion systems and materials in these objects has the potential to offer vital knowledge and stimulate innovation in the creation of novel technologies on Earth. Through the examination of these things, scientists and engineers have the potential to discover novel techniques for propulsion, energy production, and materials science that could bring about significant changes in numerous sectors and industries. Ultimately, the substantial evidence substantiating the presence of elongated UFOs in the shape of cigars is highly persuasive and demands thoughtful examination. The testimony's consistency and trustworthiness, along with the exceptional qualities and behaviors of these items, indicate their authenticity and genuineness. While it is yet to be determined if they originate from extraterrestrial sources or are the outcome of sophisticated human technology, their presence poses a challenge to our comprehension of the cosmos and our position within it. As we further investigate the heavens and strive to unravel the secrets of these mysterious entities, it is crucial for us to maintain an open and meticulous approach in our quest for knowledge, acknowledging that the truth may surpass our current imagination. a clear photograph of a UFO captured above Grangemouth, Scotland. An observation and photograph capturing the underside of an unidentified flying object in the winter of 1991 above the skies of Grangemouth, Scotland, stands out as one of the most notable images of a UFO in recent times. Furthermore, this encounter seamlessly aligns with the abundance of other sightings in this specific region. The encounter occurred near the Polmont Reservoir, highlighting once again the correlation between water and UFO sightings. In addition, the region is home to oil refineries and other military sites. Any of these could potentially serve as a focal point of interest or significance. Furthermore, this region appears to be a hub for heightened UFO sightings, along with a plethora of other supernatural experiences. Undoubtedly, the location can be considered one of the most captivating areas on Earth. The narrative and investigation are attributed to Malcolm Robinson and originate from the archives of Strange Phenomena Investigations. The primary witness in prior reports was identified under the pseudonym Peter Muir. Nevertheless, in the subsequent years, he would employ his actual name, Phil Trevis. On the evening of November 12, 1991, Phil Trevis and Paul Penman were photographing near the British Petroleum Chemicals factory in Grangemouth for their project, named Light and Dark. During this time, they observed something unusual above them. At approximately 9:30 in the evening, the individuals observed a pair of small, intermittently illuminated lights in the vicinity of flashing pylons at a nearby bridge. Both individuals observed the lights as they traversed the sky and approached the Grangemouth Stadium, which was illuminated with great intensity. While observing the thing suspended above the stadium, they abruptly became aware of its complete absence of sound. This effectively dispelled any notion that the lights were attached to the lower part of a chopper. Subsequently, the object altered its course once more, but now it was approaching them. The object seemed to be at an altitude of around 2,000 feet above the Earth as it began moving towards them. Nevertheless, it would abruptly decrease its altitude while accelerating significantly. With the object positioned nearly straight overhead, Travis would obtain the shot renowned within UFO communities. He approximated that it was merely about 200 to 300 feet over them when he did so. As the vehicle flew above them, they could perceive a faint and rhythmic humming sound emanating from it. Despite initially feeling terrified, both men soon experienced a surge of enthusiasm. After the encounter, the two guys would submit their account of the incident to the Strange Phenomena Investigations team. They would be responsible for conducting the inquiry of the occurrence. There were no other aircraft nearby during the specific night in question. Additionally, it is noteworthy that the airspace above the BP plant is safeguarded. Consequently, passage through the area necessitates authorization. Given this information, they would reach out to the BP facility. They inquired whether the item could have been one of their little aircraft, and one that could have been conducting surveillance in the vicinity of the facility. Nevertheless, the plant would assert that the unfamiliar entity, regardless of its nature, was not anything they had launched into the atmosphere above. Trevis later elaborated on the efforts he had to make in order to capture the shot, describing how he had to exert significant physical and mental effort. Undoubtedly, this viewpoint provides the image with a distinctive outlook, virtually giving it a concave appearance. In addition, due to the occurrence happening during nighttime, the intense illumination emitted by the object generates a phenomenon known as the halo effect. Of utmost significance, however, was Robinson's own summary of the episode. He asserted that both the description and the photo itself were in line with what was being observed in the area during that period. Overall, it seems that the occurrence above Grangemouth is highly plausible. In recent decades, many inhabitants of Grangemouth have reported observing unidentified flying objects in the sky. The presence of bright lights, unconventional flight paths, and unexplainable occurrences in these encounters has ignited fervent inquiry and discussion. Despite initial doubt, the claims of UFO sightings near Grangemouth are both consistent and credible, indicating that they are genuine. This has led to a further investigation into the enigmatic phenomena that persist in the area's skies. In the early 1990s, there was a significant UFO sighting near Grangemouth. Numerous neighbours witnessed a sequence of peculiar lights suspended above the petrochemical factory. Observers characterised the luminous objects as radiant spheres that manoeuvred noiselessly and displayed atypical aerial trajectories, including swift acceleration and sudden alterations in course. This initial sighting established a foundation for a sequence of subsequent encounters that would confirm Grangemouth's status as a prominent location for UFO activity. An exceptionally captivating event occurred on a cloudless night in August 2002. Several eyewitnesses, including local law enforcement authorities, observed a substantial triangular-shaped vehicle with luminous lights positioned at each vertex. The aircraft remained suspended noiselessly over the town for a few minutes before vanishing at an astonishing velocity. The witnesses' meticulous accounts and the confirmation from several sources greatly enhanced the credibility of this encounter. Furthermore, radar data obtained from a nearby air traffic control center allegedly spotted an unidentifiable object in the area, providing additional evidence to verify the assertions made by the witnesses. In January 2011, workers at the Grangemouth petrochemical plant witnessed a notable event when they observed a sequence of luminous objects moving skillfully in the sky. The lights exhibited diverse configurations and forms, including a discernible triangular arrangement, prior to vanishing completely without leaving any evidence. The workers, who were knowledgeable with the usual air traffic and industrial operations in the vicinity, were resolute in their belief that what they witnessed was completely unprecedented. Their testimony, along with the lack of any documented airborne activity in the vicinity during that period, indicates that the lights were not typical aircraft or natural occurrences. Furthermore, apart from these prominent observations, a multitude of additional accounts have surfaced from Grangemouth inhabitants throughout the years, documenting experiences with unidentified flying objects of diverse forms and dimensions. Several witnesses have provided accounts of observing disc-shaped objects, as well as sightings of cigar-shaped crafts and luminous spheres. The variety of these observations, together with their enduring regularity, suggests that Grangemouth could serve as a hub for a diverse array of unexplained flying objects. The consequences of these sightings are significant and extensive. If the unidentified flying objects witnessed above Grangemouth are actually authentic and legitimate, they indicate the existence of sophisticated technology that challenges conventional understanding. The objects' quiet and swift motions, as well as their abrupt vanishings, suggest powers that surpass the current level of human technological advancement. This suggests the potential that the unidentified flying objects may originate from extraterrestrial sources, indicating the presence of highly developed societies that have come to Earth to watch or engage with humans. The possible existence of extraterrestrial visitors in Grangemouth raises significant inquiries regarding their intentions and motivations. Are they monitoring the petrochemical factory, possibly attracted by the industrial operations and energy emissions? These questions emphasize the necessity for additional inquiry and study into the UFO phenomenon witnessed in Grangemouth and other such areas of high activity worldwide. Technological improvements in recent years have introduced novel instruments for investigating and recording UFO sightings. Advanced imaging devices like high-resolution cameras, drones, and sophisticated radar systems have the capability to collect intricate evidence of these enigmatic objects. Coordinated endeavors, including civilian researchers, local authorities, and scientific institutions, have the potential to methodically record and examine UFO encounters in Grangemouth, leading to a more comprehensive comprehension of their characteristics and source. Furthermore, the growing willingness of governments and military organizations to openly acknowledge and investigate UFO reports provides optimism for further transparency and collaboration in dealing with this issue. The recent declassification of UFO-related materials by the United States Department of Defense and other global organizations indicates an increasing acknowledgement of the significance of investigating unusual aerial occurrences. Ultimately, the UFO sightings observed above Grangemouth, Scotland, constitute a captivating and authentic mystery that demands meticulous scrutiny and exploration. The report's consistency and believability, along with the exceptional attributes of the observed objects, indicate that these experiences are genuine and not readily explicable by traditional methods. As we persist in investigating the celestial realm and endeavor to find explanations for the inquiries prompted by these observations, it is imperative that we maintain a receptive and conscientious approach to acquiring information, acknowledging that the veracity may exist outside the confines of our present comprehension.